We're back at Oran Park Raceway for round 7 of the Sedans Nationals, and the plot thickens here with a number of championships on the line. And for some, waging war on the big guns is good enough as winning, especially when you're in a very quick Mazda like Trent Young. Trent, how did you prepare for a weekend in the sports sedans?
Yeah, there's a lot of long hours going into these cars, making sure everything's right, all the nuts and bolts are tight, and just stuff in development on the car. So yeah, if you got everything right, you should have a good weekend.
Luke Youlden is out, and you're close in the points to Kerry Bailey. You could make some gains this weekend.
Yeah, Kerry's always been one of those guys I've got wanted to get close with, and a couple of 3 points behind him, so hopefully we can get in front of him this weekend.
And this is the sports sedan's first outing here this year. What are your thoughts on the circuit?
Yeah, Oran Park's always been a good circuit. It's just one of those tracks, if you get it wrong, well, you have a bad weekend, but if you can sort your car out, it's a great weekend away.
Well, good luck, Trent. Well, half their luck for those who've already had a turn here this year, and others will have to get to grips very quickly on the Oran Park circuit. Richard Craill has more.
Maybe it's a combination of the fact that A, this might be the last time they race at Oran Park, and B, the series is just plain going off. But there's 23 cars on the grid this weekend for the 4th round of the Kerrick Industrial Equipment Sports Sedan National Series. There's only 26 points separating leader Darren Hossack from Sports Sedan Supremo Tony Ricciardello, and the West Aussie is ready to launch an assault in his Red Rooster Alpha GTV. Cars have come from everywhere, and the action is going to be thick and fast. Anything can happen when sports sedans invade Oran Park, so you better hold on tight. Swerve and Bobby Urban could be forgiven this weekend for looking a little second-hand. He's had an enormous amount of work to do in a short space of time and very little sleep. It's amazing, really, that he's even here.
Yeah, we've had a couple of really late nights and stuff to try and get to this meeting. I'd like to thank Ian Woodward for helping us out with the cylinder head. Basically, we had to do a fair bit of engine work between Eastern Creek and this round. We had a failure at Eastern Creek, so we just had to get on top of that, and finally got here yesterday at 3:30 in the morning, so it was a bit of a drive, but we've made it, and that's the main thing.
Another challenge for Urban this weekend is getting to know Oran Park for the first time, a circuit that he believes is at least similar in some ways to other places he's raced.
This is the first time we've been to Oran Park, so obviously we've got to learn the track and stuff, but it's good so far. I'm really enjoying it. Basically, it's very similar to Eastern Creek in a few ways, sort of flowing and change direction a lot, so it shouldn't be too bad once we get out there and have a good go at it.
Bobby's a big believer in the sports sedans and relishes the chance to race the sports big dogs.
Yeah, it's awesome. You know, we've got more cars coming on board. I think there's 23 cars here this weekend, so that's awesome, and it's an awesome category. So, you know, Darren Hossack and Kerry Bailey and the usual front runners, Tony Ricciardello. We're just trying to keep up with them and see how we go.
So let's take a look at the points as they come into round 4, and Darren Hossack with a narrow 26-point lead over Ricciardello. Kerry Bailey, Trent Young and Phil Crompton, also Charlie Sinisi having a good scrap for the Miners. Let's take a look at highlights now of race number 1 in inclement conditions, to say the very least. Very slippery underfoot. Ricciardello led away from Hossack and Tomasi, with Trent Young in there as well, but it was awfully slippery, as was evidenced just here by the Menai Blinds number 26 car going around of Scott Butler, and then Tomasi drowned the Calibra in a huge puddle. This was nasty. Jackson narrowly misses the tyre bundle, could have split the car right down the middle. There was bad damage that brought out the safety car. Unfortunately, Jackson was safe. That was the best part about the whole deal. Tomasi needed to be towed out of Pukey Hollow, and at the restart, the safety car nicked off. Dean Cam had a very good look up the inside. This was a great battle, raged throughout the race. Jamison on the right-hand side, Young on the left-hand side in the Mazda. This battle went on, considering the conditions, absolutely tremendous race. Ricciardello went on to win the event in the Red Rooster car, an easy win in the end. Second place was Darren Hossack. Back to Jamison, Young, Urban, Butler, Cam and Nelson.
Yeah, look, it's good to get that one in the bag. we've had a tough year, and it's just good for the guys to get a bit of confidence back. And we know the car's got a bit of pace, so now hopefully it's going to be a dry race for the second one, and we can repeat the same form.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Look, we're not disappointed with that. With our lead that we've got in the championship, we just need to keep the thing, on the track and finishing. And, obviously Tony's got the pressure of having to win races. So, we just keep going round and round, and, we'll see what happens now. Hopefully it's dry and we can have a bit of a dab in this one.
Yeah, it was a good turnout for us. We finally got a little bit of a result come through, so hopefully we can do a bit more of that for the rest of the weekend, and we'll see how we go from there.
Quite challenging track conditions out there, greasy, wet in parts, dry in others.
Yeah, very, very greasy, very loose. We had a green set of wets. We had to road them in, but other than that, we started getting there and it started to come good towards the end, so see how we go for that race too.
Well, conditions are still pretty dicey here at Oran Park. The track has dried, but these will be difficult conditions as we get set for race 2 of the Kerrick Sports Sedan National Series at the Oran Park Grand Prix circuit. And thanks to his race 1 victory, Tony Ricciardello will go from P1 in race number 2 back down to Fredak Caesar and David McGuinness further towards the back of the field. Some big names going from the back of this as we get set for the green flag. The rolling start here at Oran Park. It's Hossack versus Ricciardello. And they get the green flag underway for race 2. There is Kerry Bailey. We'll need to watch him come through the field. He's already starting to do that. And a great start from Young in the Mazda RX-7 as we welcome the guru amongst gurus in sports sedan racing, Jeff Boyd, to the commentary box. Jeff, welcome to you. Big field this and some big names coming from the back.
Yeah, certainly was. You can still see water on the side of the circuit, so very, very slippery offline and very wet in race 1. But the guys that were coming from the back didn't have wet weather tyres or elected not to start in the slippery conditions this morning. So as you said, Bailey's coming through and working very hard to get through. McGuinness is coming through. Barnes is coming through as well. They are all off the back of the grid. Tomasi as well, right at the back of their field. So a lot of big names at the back. But at the moment, Hossack looks like he's got through on Ricciardello and he's moved through into first place. So he's moved on Young as well. So Young got a good start. And Butler, look at the Menai Blinds Camaro right up there. This is normally a club car. We'll call it a club car. Very, very quick in their national series, but leading the state series in New South Wales, doing an excellent job against the national cars here this weekend.
Well, that's the point of the Shannons Nationals. Allows the state level guys to come out and play. Here we go. Here's the Alpha versus the RX-7 in a straight line down towards turn 1. You'd think Ricciardello would do that, and the GTV gets by, so he moves himself into second. But meanwhile, Darren Hossack has been able to drive away out in front with Young's fantastic start and really held Ricciardello up on that opening lap. And that's nothing against Young. Trent Young is doing a fantastic job in the 41 car, and Butler, as you mentioned, a fantastic run too in that Camaro next. And then Daniel Jamison just latching onto the back of them in 5th place in the Jag. Here's the replay.
There's Chev Power up against the rotary turbo powered cars, the Young family from northern New South Wales, and Plummer's up there in that area and doing a fantastic job. And one of the few cars that isn't a Chev in this particular field. Good to see the rotary. Fred Exceser in the Commodore got problems, keeping well to the left to keep out of the way of the faster cars coming through.
This is a good battle here with Young under all sorts of pressure now in the battle for 3rd place with Butler behind him in that Camaro, and he's doing a fantastic job so far. Scott Butler behind them, a local I guess, Daniel Jamison, based just down the road. That is truly a local car, that Jag, Jeff.
Yeah, certainly is. Campbelltown Frames and Trusses, and he's a managing director, I suppose, now of the company, and started by his father. So, but doing a good job. Hasn't raced the whole year. Tomasi up this inside of the New Zealand Camaro, and Dean Cam having an off weekend in that car. It was imported early this year from New Zealand. McGuinness getting up there inside as well.
So this is a great battle, and some of these faster cars working their way through the field as Barnes looks up the inside of the Commodore into turn 4, but can't get the job done. Now we'll try and do it side by side across the bridge and tucks in, so that's one more position in that brilliantly liveried Camaro. Here's the replay. Daniel Tomasi, the Domain Homes entry, goes through. The Commodore gets through as well, and Dean Cam gets shuffled back you'd think, Jeff, that when Dean gets a handle on this Corvette, it's going to be absolutely amazing to watch.
It certainly will be. It's got good horsepower, good power, but he has had some sort of problems in this race, and he'll be back out in race 3, hopefully going a little bit quicker, but he is working to try and get the car set up and get it sorted out. This Jag on screen now, absolutely beautiful. The Jamison car, a beautiful car, one of the new generations.
Whoa. Young is off from 3rd place. He's off at the racetrack at turn 3, and it's really wet offline, Jeff. He's going to struggle to get that thing back on the racetrack. He's kept the boot into it. Here's the Kerrick replay. It shows it. Just grabbed the brake on the inside and fired the car off at 100 miles an hour.
He's going to be very lucky, as you say, to get out, but the last look we saw, it looked like he was just about to get onto the circuit, but that's going to bring a lot of mud and rubbish back onto the circuit, so they'll have to watch it down.
Really going to be difficult for him to recover. We'll find out how he does when we come back from the break. It's the Kerrick Sports Sedans from Oran Park. Welcome back to Oran Park Raceway. It's round 7 of the Shannon's National Motor Racing Championships and round 4 of the Kerrick Sports Sedan Series, and one of the biggest fields of the year is on track at the moment in a pretty entertaining race. Out in front, it's a great battle between the 2 championship protagonists in season 2008, and that is Darren Hossack and Tony Ricciardello. Scott Butler doing a fantastic job in 3rd place in the Camaro, then Daniel Jamison. Kerry Bailey has worked his way forward from the back of the field, so 22nd position up to 5th place as this race continues, and we see a dice into turn 3 here. The Commodore getting upside the Calibra, battle of the GM products, and Jeff Boyd is with me in commentary for this race. Interesting to note that the fastest laps of this race so far, Jeff, was set on lap 2. Hossack did a 108.5. Ricciardello's response, I guess, was a 9.5. Hasn't been able to get close to the Audi.
No, he was held up a little bit with Young getting into that second spot, and it's probably just slowed him up a little bit, dropped him back from Hossack's tail, and he doesn't seem to be able to respond. So as you said, the times aren't there, but it'll be interesting to see, because the tyres from the first race were wet weathers, so therefore their tyres are better, but maybe some sort of problem for Ricciardello, as Tomasi and Jeff Barnes in the Pontiac Trans Am having a fantastic dice as they drop down the end of the straight. They're very, very fast into that left-hander.
They were standing on pit lane on Friday watching these cars right at the very end of Oran Park's pit lane, and the speed they take down into turn 1 is quite amazing. Jeff Barnes is all over the back of Tomasi here, gets up the inside into 4 and gets the job done, so that's a nice move, and one more position further forward for Jeff Barnes. He's having a good weekend so far. Didn't run in race 1, but in the dry conditions he's really coming to the fore. And the Labella Roma at number 6, one of the best looking cars in the entire planet, gets it very sideways and lost a little bit of time, but Tomasi seemingly with no answer at this stage.
Yeah, Jeff Barnes hasn't run all year. This is his first round this year, and hasn't got a lot of money to race with, as we get a replay of Barnes getting a good run out of that corner, getting up the inside of the Calibra there, and just putting it neatly up the inside, no problems at all. But as I said, he hasn't raced all year, so it's great to see him out, and he's a real character. If you ever get to meet the bloke, he's just a real character, and he's great to have in our sport.
Well, here is Darren Hossack as we start the final lap at Oran Park. Kerrick Sports Sedan National Series, really looking to be a great tussle between this man and the reigning champion, multiple champion Tony Ricciardello. But I think it's fair to say that the game has changed in sports sedan racing. This new car, the Audi Spares A4, John Goulet and his team have put it together. I think it's safe to say that this has lifted sports sedan racing to a new level in Australia.
It certainly has. Ricciardello's had it for quite a few years, but the effort they put into this car is just absolutely brilliant. The Audi Spares team, as you said, just put countless hours into this car, and it's so just so immaculately turned out that you just can see that the speed is in it, and definitely dominated this year. At the moment, quite a few points in front, probably about 35 at this stage, in front of the the Ricciardello, so going well. Checkered flag out now for Hossack, and look at the gap back to Ricciardello. He's just not even in the picture at the moment, so this car is just so dominant at the moment. And
still waiting. This is a crushing victory, and it's all well and good to have a great car as Ricciardello crosses the line in second, but you've got to have the driver to do the job as well, and so far that has been Darren Hossack. Great performance to get home in third place for Scott Butler. Kerry Bailey from the back of the grid to fourth, ahead of Jamison, Barnes, Nelson. Daniel Tomasi finished eighth.
Yeah, that was a bit better fun than the first one. We were able to, obviously get a lead on Tony and stretch it then. Still with the championship in mind, we don't want to make any mistakes, but certainly, the car was probably a bit better suited than Tony's to the dry conditions, and, I just drove as hard as I could. I say it was dry, but it was still a bit, greasy offline, and there was mud everywhere, so it's just a good one to get away, and hopefully it's dry, and the next one we can do the same thing.
Yeah, look, I'm pretty happy with the race, but we just had it, we're unlucky really. We're on pole position for the start, and inside on was wet, so I just got stuck wheel spinning, and everyone got past me, and I got past Trent Young during the race, and Darren by then had made too much of a gap, so we settled for second, and hopefully race 3 is going to be a lot closer.
Yeah, it was good fun and games. I was just trying to hang on to it the whole race, really. I'd like to thank Steve Vigers from Steve's Toy Shop. He's done all the hard work. I'll just try and keep it on the track.
No doubt about it, Dean Cam has one of the coolest cars in motor racing. His Corvette Trans Am turns heads everywhere it goes. It's the latest in a long line of thrill machines he's owned for almost a decade.
8 or 9 years now. We've started off with an RX2 and progressed to an RX7, and the Honda. Had that for a long time, still got the Honda, and now we've got the Corvette. Hopefully this will be the last car we have. Comes from New Zealand. We bought the car about 4 months ago. Been trying to buy it for the last 8 or 9 months. Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to find or afford to build a faster car than this car with all the car's potential. It's a really fast car and a really strong and safe car. We've only just started racing it, had a few problems, teething problems. Now it looks like we're on top of everything.
Dean loves sports sedans as much for the camaraderie as he does for the competition.
They're all a bunch of good blokes. Known most of them for a long time. There's 4 or 5 blokes from Victoria, and we all live nearby, actually, as it turns out. So we're all good friends.
Ask him about the Oran Park layout, and he's very excited to be here.
Well, this is a fantastic circuit. First time we've been here. We're going faster every time we go out, so hopefully things will keep on improving.
Welcome back to Oran Park. Dean Cam, an interesting character in sports sedan racing, finished 13th in race 2. Wonder if he can turn that into a lucky position in race number 3. Darren Hossack will go from pole position. The Audi looking so strong this weekend, ahead of Tony Ricciardello. Back down to Fredak Cisa, who will start from 16th. Trent Young, who we saw spinning off the racetrack, will go from 15th. Final race of the day, round 4 of the Kerrick Sports Sedan National Series. Green flag underway, nothing like a rolling start. And these sports sedans with in excess of 700 horsepower fire down into turn 1.
And Ricciardello's got the jump off the line on Hossack.
Yeah.
Butler, a good job for him again into 3rd place. Bailey this time hasn't come for the back of the field, up into 3rd. But Sinisi going a little bit wide in the Honda, the Kerrick sponsored car, just going a little bit wide there. But
Jamison.
Cars going everywhere at the moment. Barnes up the inside too.
I wonder if Tomasi missed a gear on the run down to turn 3, because he got split either side by Jamison and Barnes, and now Barnes is going to get another position. He's on fire this weekend. Hip and shoulder into turn 6 as they go to the bridge and gets the position 2, so that puts him to 5th place and just out of shot in front. Hossack was looking at the back of Ricciardello. Here they are, the battle for the lead. It's on early in race 2, and this is the battle we've been waiting to see between these two guys. They haven't spent a huge amount of time close to each other on the racetrack this year, but it's been that kind of a season. But a fantastic battle in the championship one way or another. Young on the comeback trail, just taking on to the back of this pack now.
Yeah, Bobby Irvin there in the little Mazda, the Nissan powered car. It's got a SR20 turbo powered car in it, and right behind him the other turbo powered car, the rotary powered car of Young, as Young gets through on the inside of Irvin. Irvin's having a few boost problems this weekend, so looks like that's continuing. Hossack still behind Ricciardello, but look at Scott Butler in the Menai Blinds car, right behind the 2 championship leaders at the moment, not looking like he's going to lose them at all.
Here's the replay. This is what happened on the straight just half a lap ago. as Young fired past Irvin in the RX-7. Now Kerry Bailey has got past Darren Hossack, so Bailey is up to second place, Butler back to fourth, but Hossack I think is in trouble. He's dropping further away from the lead.
Yeah, we've got to just keep an eye on Hossack. It looks like he's got some sort of problem. The car's dropping off pace all the time. We'll keep an eye on it. Maybe he can adjust something, maybe he can get it going, and just keep an eye on it. Nielsen there right behind, or right in front of Young, and then McGuinness, so they're still going very well. Barnes there in front of the Jamieson car as he gets very sideways at the wall. Nielsen through. We've just got to keep an eye on Hossack. Is he in problems? This is going to be bad for his championship if he is, but at the moment Ricciardello is out in front. Butler's got through on Hossack as well, so it looks like problems for Hossack. Barnes is there and then Jamieson, so these are crucial points that he really needs, but at the moment it looks like he's dropping back in the field.
Great comeback drive from Trent Young so far in the RX-7. He's coming through, and now Barnes goes up the inside of Hossack, so I think Darren at the moment just driving to finish and try and score a couple of points with his main series rival Tony Ricciardello out in front. This will close the margin up ahead of the final round of the championship and set up a really good showdown at Sandown later on this year. A replay of the move, pretty straightforward really, absolutely no resistance from Darren Hossack. Now they're just touching on that camera on the exit of the final corner. That's the coolest camera in the world, I think, when these things are going past.
And very, very tight down there, and it shows the speed of the cars through the corner. Jamieson sideways coming onto the main straight, trying very hard, and a good result for him at the moment, back in about 5th place or 4th place at the moment. So Jamieson's doing a fantastic job behind the Pontiac Trans Am of Barnes, and of course Butler in front of him. So this is probably bad for Hossack in the sense that this is our top quality, best quality field of the year, and he's going to lose points. And look how slow he's going in the background there now. So definitely slowing even further at the moment. So he's in big trouble at the moment.
And Mark Nelson was passed as the Calibra at the 46 car of McGuinness looks up to the inside and gets by. So even Darren Hossack's old car, the Mark Nelson entry, has fired past, and Axisa and the Commodore by as well. Whoa, McGuinness gets it very sideways. I thought Jamieson was sideways a lap before, but that's nothing.
Yeah, problems for McGuinness there. He must have been off the circuit, because when he goes up through there, you can see that there's dirt coming out the back of the car. So he's got into the dirt somewhere. You can see the dirt coming out. So that's dirt under the back tyres was causing his problem. Fred Xc's having a better run. He pulled out in the race before, so he's back on the circuit at this stage. But good dice here between the Alvey car and the business owned by Mark Nelson in Melbourne, and then of course the Calibra of McGuinness right behind him.
Now, this car, Mark Nelson, that's the ex-Darren Hossack car, but I believe they've changed engines recently and gone to a new power plant.
Yeah, it is. They've put a Dodge in it, and it's the Dodge NASCAR engine. Very, very high horsepower. Very awkward to drive, but Mark's coming to grips with it, starting to get a handle on it, but a very, very tight torque band. So, in other words, you've got to use sort of between 6,000 and 7,000, and not a good rev band, but high horsepower. As Ricciardello now, look, he's coming under pressure from Kerry Bailey. A fantastic result from Kerry Bailey, who didn't race in that first race, had to come from the back of the field in race 2, and here he is up in 2nd place, putting pressure on the Ricciardello car out in front.
Now what you're watching here is a battle between two of the very best sports sedan racers, because how many championships would there be between these two guys? It's got to be almost 10, surely.
Yeah, I think there's probably a little bit more than that. They've virtually dominated over the last few years, apart from Ricciardello and Randall taking one off them each. They've virtually got everything in the last 10 or 15 years.
Amazing battle between those two for the lead. So all of a sudden, an unfamiliar position for Ricciardello, finding himself under pressure from Kerry Bailey, who continues to do great things in the 300ZX. Here is a battle a little bit further down the field. This is for 3rd and 4th place. And a great performance this weekend by Scott Butler in the Camaro. He has performed exceptionally well, but at the moment he's got a pretty fired up Jeff Barnes right behind him. Hasn't done too much racing this season, as you touched on before, Jeff, and he's going to take another position. He wants to make every lap he's got count as Mark Nelson fires across the inside at turn 2. and buries it deep.
Looks like the snow plough on the front's going to keep him there. But this could bring out a flag. We'll just see whether they work on. Oh, geez, he's lucky. Straight across the track. Lucky there was no other car there. And lost it coming down at the end of the straight there. Got a little bit sideways in that little kink at the end of the straight. So going very, very quickly there. Lucky, no more damage.
And turned it into the world's most expensive Tonka truck. Yellow flags flying, as you can see. So no overtaking into turn 1 or turn 2 whilst that Camaro is there. You can see the skid marks right across. Just looks like he locked the rears up and fired the car off. So maybe a braking drama for Mark Nelson.
And a heap of pressure here from Bailey on Ricciardello. Bailey, the Queenslander, the Mudgee Bar Industrial Park car. He's been racing this car for probably about 15 years now. So not this car particularly, but been racing about 15 years and got a brand new Aston Martin in the pipeline to be built.
These new generation of sports sedans that are slowly coming out of the woodwork are fantastic for the category. And you've got to think, as we start the final lap, that the Ricciardellos aren't going to be able to sit still now. They're really going to have to push on and either develop the Alpha further, and they've had this thing for so long, I'm not sure they can get a huge amount of more time out of it. They're going to have to do something to try and answer this challenge from Darren Hossack and soon to come from Kerry Bailey as well.
Yeah, you just don't know where they're getting the power from, you might say. The Ricciardello car is very, very strong in suspension and engine, but look at Hossack just going better and better and better. So, and these Trans Am cars from New Zealand have got the chance to go even better again. So, Cam, they're going better this week with McLaughlin in front of him, but still a lot more to come out of this car of Dean Cam's.
Slowly working his lap times down, and a pretty heady development process, you'd think, to get the Corvette up to speed. Bob McLaughlin in the Commodore doing good things as well. This is the battle for 8th and 9th place on the racetrack.
Yeah, certainly is, but we should be back to our leaders now, and Bailey just can't seem to get an edge on Ricciardello as they go up over the flip-flop and come down to finish this lap. One more corner to go, and Ricciardello is going to close the championship up very closely to Hossack, because Hossack's not inside and not going to get very many points. So checkered flag out for Ricciardello. Bailey the next, and a good effort from Jeff Barnes in the Pontiac Trans Am.
Well, the championship is just going to get more interesting from here with one round to go. Trent Young was 4th ahead of Butler, McGuinness, Tomasi and McLaughlin.
Yeah, look, it was a good result in the end. Darren had a bit of a problem then, and look, we just wanted to finish the race and look forward to the next meet and the final meet for the year, and we're back in it for the championship.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad result actually. We had a little bit of a disaster in race 1 this morning and didn't compete in it. Race 2 we got up the grid a little bit more, and race 3 I was quite happy with it, but our times were nothing special, but the car was quite good, and yeah, wait for Sandown, we'll see how we go there.
Yeah, not bad for an old fella with an old car. It's been a bit of a long time between drinks, mate. We haven't had a run for 2 years, so perhaps the bloke should do this a bit more often.
So the points after the round sees Darren Hossack now with only an 8-point lead. Ricciardello has closed him right down. Bailey and Trent Young battling it out big time for 3rd.